Morning, everybody. So today I'm going to be teaching you guys about your most valuable asset. So before I dive into this, though, I want to explain to you why it's important to know what your most valuable asset is, because some people are like, oh, well, why should I care? Well, so let's just imagine that you have a rental property, right? Let's just imagine that it's worth $300,000 a year. You're paying $10,000 a year of property taxes, and you're renting it out for $1,000 a month, right? So you're making $12K a month, and you're paying $10K in taxes. You get $2,000 a year in profit on your $300,000 rental property, right? That asset is undermanaged because you could be renting it out for $3,000 a month and making $36,000 a year, and then that's $26,000 a year in profit. So $2,000 a year versus $26,000 a year in profit, right? It's a big difference, but that's what happens when you don't manage an asset correctly, right? So let's talk now about what is your most valuable asset, right? Is it most people think it's something like their car or their bank account or their house, right? Now, the thing is, if that's what you think it is, you're going to put your attention on managing those assets. But if you're missing that you have a really valuable asset that isn't in there, you're not going to be managing that, and you're going to be missing out on everything that you can get there. So I had a boss once, and he said that your most valuable asset is your future earning power. Now, that's a lot closer to the truth than, home or car or bank account, but there's still one little distinction there that he's missing, right? So your most valuable asset is your time. Now, that time can be devoted towards earning money, which is your future earning power, which is the half that he got. But your time can also be devoted towards enjoying life, right? Which is something that all of us need, right? Absolutely every one of us. So whenever I talk to somebody and they're like, oh yeah, no, I hate my job, and I had this other thing that I want to go do, and I want to be free and all this kind of stuff. And they say, but I just can't do it yet. I'm going to do it in 6 months or a year or whatever. I'm going to do it someday or whatever. What that tells me is that they don't recognize the value of their time as an asset, right? What that tells me is that they're putting their attention on their bank account and their car and their house. And they're not putting their attention on their time, which is actually a far more valuable asset than any of this, right? So, if you look at it, right, we have earning potential, we have happiness, right? Most people aren't doing either of these things very well. They're not getting either one of those out of their time, right? Now, there are many people who are getting one or the other, right? They're either getting the happiness but not the earning potential, or they're getting the earning potential and not the happiness, which is more common. If you're really clever, though, then you figure out a way to get both simultaneously, right? That's why I talk about doing what you love and getting paid for it, because now you're getting both earning potential and happiness, right? And you're getting both at a higher level than you would get doing something else. Because in my mind, you got to focus your attention, focus your energy and your importance on managing that asset of your time, because that's the single most valuable asset you have. So now let's take a look at what happens if you're mismanaging that, right? What's the potential that you're missing out on if you put your effort into managing your time instead of this other stuff? So let's say that you're mismanaging your time in such a way that you're not happy, right? You're in a job, it sucks, you're burning out, etc. Well, so now you're going to burn out, and there are 3 ways that story can end. So number 1 is you can quit, right? So many people, they get fed up, they quit, and then they trade the earning potential for the happiness, right? They trade one for the other. That's still not effectively managing your time, because now all you've done is make a trade, right? Now, the second one that can happen is you can get fired. So if your heart's not in it, then at some point your colleagues and your bosses will notice, and somebody will call you into the office, and then they'll say, hey, listen, this ain't working. Peace. Have a good one. Now, most people don't expect this to happen to them. They're like, oh, no, I'm not going to get fired. They wouldn't fire me. I can tell you that both times in my life when I've been fired, I did not see it coming. Did not remotely see it coming. So something to be aware of. If your heart's not in it, that is a risk that you are running. So in that case, somebody's taking from you that earning potential and you don't get anything back, right? So that now you've mismanaged your time in such a way you're not winning on either of them, right? And then the third thing that can happen, right, is that you stay in that job and for whatever reason they don't fire you, right? So you just keep plodding along and then you're miserable for 20 or 30 years, right? Now, I don't know about you, but the whole point for me of money is that it's a means to an end. There's no point. I don't want to see just giant number in my bank account and be like, oh, look, giant number in the bank account, right? It's a means for happiness. It's a means for impact. It's a means for something else. And so if you're not getting that, then what's the point, right? That means that you're managing your time in such a way so that you're getting something that isn't truly useful in the long run, and you're sacrificing that happiness the whole way through. So that's also a mismanagement issue, right? Now, let's look at the opposite. Let's say that, let's look about managing your time well to make money, right? Because now we've established you got to manage your time well in terms of happiness. Otherwise, you get one of those three very, very, very unpalatable outcomes, right? Now let's look at, hey, listen, are you managing your time well when it comes to money, right? So let's say you are really talented, right? Let's say you add a lot of value. Here's the truth. Your employer is going to take the majority of that value, probably more than 90%, right? So let's say, you're putting, most people, they get raises like, oh, I got a 3% raise or I got a 5% raise or something like that. But if you're really talented and you're building new stuff every year and you're bringing a lot of value, right? Like business owners, I don't know if you've ever seen like successful business owners, like the graph of their income goes like this, right? It's exponential increase, right? Because if you know the value of your time, right, then what happens is you start contracting out, you start subbing out all of the lower value tasks so that you can focus on your area of mastery. And as your skills build, you add more and more and more value, right? Even if you're just freelancing, right? Just being able to say, hey, listen, like this is the true value of my time, and then charging more and more and more as your skills build creates the ability for you to earn far, far, far more than if you're just in some job that you don't care about. Now, it's possible if you're in a job that you really care about that you make big changes in the organization because you're a leader within the organization, right? And then you can actually, see that kind of, exponential growth. But to do that, you have to be actually adding a tremendous amount of value, and you have to have passion. I can guarantee you that will not happen if you don't like what you're doing. Guarantee you will not be able to rise that quickly if you don't have a passion for what you're doing, right? So at the end of the day, when it comes to managing your time for both your happiness and your wealth, that's where your attention needs to be. It needs to be on how can I get more wealth and more happiness out of every single day. And if you're just going in, you're doing the 9 to 5, you go in, you work, it sucks, you come home and you think, oh, well, in 6 months or a year, I'll make a change. Well, that's 6 months or a year of time that you've wasted, right? That's like the guy who's like, oh yeah, I'm not going to raise my rents. I'll just keep making $2,000 a year. I'll raise my rents next year, right? It's foolish, right? And because people don't realize how valuable that asset of their time is, they don't realize that they have millions of dollars of future earning potential. They don't realize the value of their happiness, which, I have an email that I send out to people sometimes where I talk about this of like your future happiness is worth, millions of dollars, literally millions. And I go through the calculation, right? So people are losing millions of dollars worth of happiness and millions of dollars worth of future earning potential because they're not managing their time effectively. And by procrastinating on that and by not doing anything about it, then guess what? You're losing that time every single day. It is being taken from you if you don't take action, right? So that's the asset that you want to be focused on maximizing, guys. And so, if you don't know, one second here, let me put this link here in the chat. If you don't know how to get the most out of your time so that you're getting both wealth and happiness simultaneously, right? Because that's the key, right? It's all about stacking. If you can do 2 things in 1 hour, then, hell, that's what you want to do. You want to get the most out of it, both in terms of time, in terms of money, right? Where you're earning more for every hour than you could be earning, and you're doing it in a way that makes you happy, where you're winning on all cylinders. If you don't have a path to get to where you want to be, then give me a call, right? That's what I do. That's why I have this group, right? Is to help people with that. This is the link. It's www.oculusinstitute.com/scheduling. We'll take a look at what's going on. We'll take a look at where you're mismanaging your time. We'll take a look at, hey, listen, are you actually, Don saying bingo. Yeah, she knew what this was going to be. She put a comment on the prefix saying she knew the answer to the question, and she did, right? Because Don's awesome. But yeah, so go in and say, hey, listen, if you're mismanaging your time in a way that you're not getting the money that, we're going to take a look at, hey, listen, where are you messing up? Where are you not earning as much as you could? Where are you not as happy as you could be? Where do you want to be, and what's standing in the way, and what's the best next path to get there? So if that's something that you're interested in doing, and you just want to say, hey, listen, how can I manage my time better so that I can be both healthy and wealthy and happy and all these kinds of things, then great. Give me a call. I'm happy to chat. I'm happy to help. And I will see you guys in a couple days. Have a good one.